Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
You are listening to the Brilliance Business Show. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. Conversations with leading experts in business. And today I'm joined by the most incredible guest, Sarah Jones. Sarah is an executive coach, and our topic today is winning mindset for business leaders. Sarah, welcome to the Brilliance Business Show.
Hi, Mark. Thank you. Great to speak to you today.
I'm looking forward to a conversation with you today, Sarah. Before I get started, I just need to make a legal disclaimer that Sarah is not offering legal advice or legal assistance. So let's get started with the show. Sarah, can you share with our listeners a little bit about yourself and your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a coach and I help motivated individuals who have hit a brick wall in their career. So I offer career coaching, skills development for male and female leaders that have perhaps hit a stumbling block in their position where they are now and they don't want to leave their company, or for people that just have hit a brick wall and don't know what they want to do. So that's what I do for individuals. And then for organisations, I help executives and leaders finesse their leadership style to drive performance. I also help them reduce conflict and improve communication in teams. So very often team communication breaks down, so I offer team coaching sessions and team workshops. And I also help a lot of people that have been promoted into their first leadership role. They're sometimes a leader by accident, or it's the first time that they've led a team, whether that's their own business or they're employed by somebody. And I help them to really love the leap from manager to leader, which are two very different disciplines.
Great skills, what you're teaching there, Sarah. Communication. Just recently, I've had a few things happen to me where people have had really bad communication skills, and call me old-fashioned, but it puts me off straight away when someone doesn't have good communication skills, and especially when working with a team. So can you share, who are your clients? What kind of customers do you serve on a daily basis, Sarah?
Yes. So, I mean, on the individual side, I work with people, both male and female. I work with a lot of male executives, actually, that are from a wide range of industries, the charity sector, the healthcare sector, you name it. I work with people in the gaming industry. So on the individual side, it really does differ in terms of the sectors. But the problems seem to be similar, common problems that people share, such as fed up with my career, I've been given this feedback, what do I do about it? Imposter syndrome, lack of confidence, lack of direction, the inability to manage upwards. So that on the individual side, what I think aligns all of my clients is that they are motivated and they want something else from their career. So I would say that's the key factor. And then with organisations, I tend to work with nimble organisations that are very much, yes, we want to improve this problem. We want to get on with it. Let's go, go, go. And that probably says a lot about my own personality type. I'm a very solutions-focused person. I like to solve problems. So I typically work with those kinds of organisations. So, for example, I've worked with quite a lot of small biopharma, so pharmaceutical companies that are growing, going through change, having to adapt their services. I've worked with branches of medical practices, and I've worked in the supply chain and logistics sector. And I think that's probably because my industry background was in supply chain, logistics, and the pharmaceutical sector. So people can see that I probably talk the language of those sectors.
Yes, and what you just said really stood out to me, because when we all have problems that we are facing, we think we're the only one that has that problem. But like you mentioned, these are common problems like imposter syndrome. These are things that we all battle with, and there is help and support with people like Sarah where they can get you in the right direction. Now, Sarah, do you recall a specific aha moment that led to the launch of your business?
Yes, absolutely. And just referring to what you said there, Mark, and it's completely true. Everybody's unique, everybody's different, but there are common sets of problems. There's a fantastic phrase or quote, and it's from Buddha, and he said, we sometimes can't see our own eyebrows, and that's where I think coaching helps. We can help people to be objective and see their problems in a fresh perspective. But yes, I did have an aha moment. Most people have a light bulb moment. I call it a photocopier moment because I remember distinctly when it happened. I'd spent many, many years in my corporate career and I was really, really happy. I was absolutely going like a steam train. I was ticked all the boxes of the milestones that I wanted to reach in my career. And then it got to a point where I realised, I thought, hang on a minute. If I go somewhere else, it's probably going to be the same kind of job. I need a fresh challenge, but I had no idea where to start. So I thought, well, okay, let me just go freelancing. So I went freelancing in my communications work because I thought that's going to give me the headspace to really think about what I want to do. And then I went into this zone of what I call literally careering around. I spent money doing and trying different things, which wasn't a bad experience because you never know when that experience is going to help you. But it was like, it's not that. Oh my goodness, what is it? And then it was so bizarre because it was brewing away. I thought, I'm not happy. And then I watched a film, and it was by the writer and the speaker, Wayne Dyer, who's no longer with us, but a very famous positive psychology writer and speaker. And I watched his film, The Shift, and it really struck me. I thought, oh my goodness. And the next morning, I stood at the photocopier and I just thought, I can't do this anymore. And I just kind of quit my contract. And when I had that, even more of that headspace, my friends had been saying to me for at least a month, you should be a coach. You're really good at listening. You're always really neutral. You're always really objective. You don't judge people. You're really good at all this stuff. And then it took for me to pay to have my own coach for her to say, Sarah, I really think you'd be good at coaching. And it was almost like I had to have that message said to me several times before I really went, oh my goodness, this is it. I was ready for the change. But it was at the photocopier where I just thought, I can't do this anymore. I really cannot do it anymore. So it was interesting.
I love that ha-ha moment, and a great film too. I've watched The Shift a couple of times and I really like that movie, and it's great for giving you a little bit of direction and showing you that there's a lot more to life and you can make a lot more from life. Now, Sarah, what really motivates you to jump out of bed every single day?
Okay, so apart from the 4 alarm clocks that I usually have somewhere in my room, I'm quite lucky. I've always, one of my top strengths, there's a really good tool called Strengths Finder, is zest for life. So I think I am very lucky in that I just seem to have a natural zest for life. And I think that's because when I was growing up, my parents worked really, really, really hard to give their 4 children everything that they didn't have growing up. And I watched my parents really work their fingers to their bone to the point where my dad was quite ill for a number of years. And that gave me a really good work ethic, but it made me appreciate from a very early age what life was about. And that if I wanted to live a fulfilled life, it was really up to me to sort of work on the results for myself. And I know that it might sound odd, but I remember growing up in the UK in a time when there was lots of social unrest. I'm talking about the 80s, where there was strikes, there was a lot of combat on the streets, there was lots of troubles in Ireland, there was lots of news reporting about the famines in Ethiopia as well. And I remember turning around to my mum and saying, and I was quite young, I remember saying, gosh, Mum, I'm so lucky to be living in this country. Aren't we lucky? And I just remember that. And I think your early childhood experiences and upbringing really shape you. And I think that's definitely the case for me in terms of, you know, I just feel that we've kind of got one life, so to speak, in this context anyway. And if we really want to fulfill our lives, then we have to take steps forwards to do that.
I agree with you totally. Your past does really help to shape your future. And what a nice message that you have just shared as well, Sarah. Now, Sarah, tell me, what sets your business apart and what unique need are you filling for your customers?
I think actually one of my clients phoned me the other day, and I've been working with his business, his teams and his organisation for quite some time. And he actually got in touch and said, can you help my daughter, please? Because she's really stuck in her career and she needs the Sarah Jones treatment. So I need to really find out what the Sarah Jones treatment is. But I think what comes across, I think with any business, you know, with any, what happens with any business is that if it's your business, you are the business. So I think some people will like my very effervescent, passionate, dynamic approach, whereas some people might not like that particular style. I think it's basically, I think my years in industry really, really help. So as I mentioned in my first career, I got up to board level at quite a young age. I think I was in my late 20s, 30, and I found myself sitting in a boardroom of a limited company, a PLC, thinking, wow, I'm actually here. I'm the only woman in the room. So I think I've been through a lot of experience that I coach and train people on, so I can completely understand, although their situation is unique, where they're coming from. So I think that helps as well.
Why is your service especially important in today's modern world?
Well, I think because we live in very different times now. And I mean, there's a lot going on in the world, as there always is at the moment. But if you think about it, even just a few decades back, traditionally, most people would meet, stay and marry in their own local community, whereas now the world's changed. We live in a global economy. We don't think of anything of jumping on a plane to go overseas for a meeting. The internet has brought everyone closer together, and social media has brought everyone closer together. There's a lot of new industries such as AI, you know, augmented reality, social media, digital, that didn't exist many years ago and have replaced perhaps some of the more traditional industrial type sectors that we have had in the past. And I think that's really, and the other factors, so that the world of work is very, very different in terms of how we work and what we do. And we couldn't predict that the same way that we won't know what the future jobs are that exist in a couple more decades. That's going to look different again. I think the other thing that's changed is that we are hopefully living longer than we used to. So we tend to be working longer. Companies change their structures a lot. So we're faced, redundancy is pretty much par for the course in a lot of our careers. The other thing that has changed is that sometimes we have both partners that are working. So whereas before it might have been the woman typically would stay at home and the father goes out to work, now it tends to be that both partners are working to pay for college fees, to pay for mortgages. So the world of work for people, and therefore what makes us happy and what we want from our career and what happens to us in our career, has fundamentally changed. And it's quite common that we'll change jobs or career about 6, 7, if not more times in a lifetime.
Great points. The world is a lot smaller than it used to be because of the internet, because of social media, which is great. But then the skills that you're providing are very, very important, Sarah, because communication can be lost over the internet, can't it? So these skills, even though they are skills that have been around for a long time, they need to be used a lot more as the world is changing as well. Now, can you share more detail on the kinds of services and products that you offer?
Yeah, so I've got a few things actually. It's just about to go live, but there's the course platform Udemy. I don't know if you've heard of Udemy, where you can go on and buy courses.
Yes.
I'm launching a career course on Udemy that's going live soon, and that gives you, immediate access to lots of career searching and career tools. I also provide team coaching sessions. So that's where I will use psychometric profiling to understand the behaviour patterns of each team member, but actually then analyse the culture and the communication styles of the team. And then I'll work with the team to develop, whatever the goals are that they need to develop as a team, and keep them on track and agree the sets of behaviours that they adhere to. I do this as a training course or coaching, where you learn the key skills about, what's the difference between becoming a manager or a leader. And it might be that you have a training course and then there's some follow-up coaching. Coaching tends to be much more individualised and self-empowered than delivering a training course, which is delivered as a half day, 1 day or 2 day workshop. I also do a lot of work for women, making sure that they are comfortable. I would say being assertive. It's more than confidence, but actually having a level of assertiveness that we don't apologise for. That doesn't mean you have to be completely alpha female. It means, how do you do that? How do you take that bold step to become even more assertive whilst being true to your own character as well? So those are some of the key areas that I coach on.
Amazing. Some great products and services there, Sarah. Now, I would imagine you have all sorts of client success stories. What is one that really stands out in your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So there was a team workshop I was doing recently that was quite interesting, where the team, I don't think, had been managed that well recently, and it was almost coming to physical confrontation in the workshop in terms of the tension that was building up. And by the end of the day, there were so many aha moments. It was, hang on, oh, I didn't know that about you. Well, I didn't know that about you. And I didn't know that about you. I've got another great success story where, with an individual client, she still needed to work part-time in her primary role, but she wanted to also work on her writing. So we sat down, set out her goals, her plans, and we identified what it was, because she said, there's something missing. I don't know what it is. I still need to go and work, but there's something missing. There's a passion missing. And we identified together that she was like, oh my goodness, it's so obvious. It's writing a book. So she's working and on the way to publishing her first book, which is amazing. I've got another lady that has similarly hit a brick wall in her career, doesn't know what to do or didn't know what to do, and was just almost paralysed with her own mindset. She, I think, was brought up to believe that she had to be high-powered, she had to be working in London. And we did the profiling tool, we talked through things, we did a number of sessions, quite intensive sessions actually, and she realised she wasn't actually being her true self. So she's now dropped down to part-time work, and she's working as a consultant, because it means it gives her that flexibility around her children as well. I've also worked with
I just love these success stories. They're just really uplifting.
Yeah. and working with a lady at the moment in terms of there's a succession planning piece going on with a small business around bringing in more diversity, more female leaders. And I had a really great call with the manager that hired me to say, oh my goodness, her confidence has just gone through the roof. Her poise, her gravitas has gone through the roof since she's been working with you. So she's now, I would say, a serious contender for being the managing director in the future.
Absolutely incredible, Sarah. And it's all about how you serve others, and you are truly showing that you're a true leader and getting results for your clients. How do clients typically hear about you, and are there certain life moments that usually lead to them seeking you out?
Yeah, actually it's through a variety of different ways. Sometimes I do quite a few press articles. So I've been featured in the press, and sometimes people have seen my articles. I'm very active on social media, so I've got a Facebook page. I'm on LinkedIn as well, and I'm on YouTube, so I've got lots of videos there. I go out and speak a lot. So this year I've got a number of different speaking opportunities at conferences relating to the supply chain industry and logistics industry, because that's one of my backgrounds, as I mentioned before. So, yeah, and usually people come to me when they really have realised, I think sometimes I'll just say something. It's really varied. So I wrote an article on imposter syndrome, and, that led to somebody calling me and saying, I've been promoted, but I actually feel like I'm a fraud. I don't really feel like I deserve this job, but I saw your article and I wanted to talk to you about it. I did another article for an in-flight magazine about team dynamics, and again that led to another client phoning me up. And it's a real variety, but it's typically when you've either written something or done a video and it's just struck a chord with somebody, or people have done a Google search for me. So yeah, it's a variety of different ways.
I know you're very active on social media, Sarah. I've seen your videos popping up, and you're also very active on Twitter as well. And you do some great articles as well. I find your work fascinating. Is there anything we did not cover that you would like to share?
Yeah, I think the one thing I would say to people is that seeking coaching or whatever help you need is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. I think sometimes we can judge situations in our life as negative or positive, which is natural. And we all have those moments. It doesn't matter who we are, where we're going through changes, and our mindset, our beliefs will pop up. So, for example, if I was making a big change in an area of my life, despite being a coach, I might still have some mindsets that I need to work on, but I've got the tools and techniques to do it. It's perfectly normal to have doubt. It's perfectly normal to have hit a brick wall. And what I find is when I'm working with my clients, even in the first free 30-minute consultation that I give to people, they're already having light bulb moments, because I think as human beings, we see it as a weakness, or we suppress those negative things. We don't want to admit them. And I think I would just encourage people that they are in any doubt or they're worrying about something to speak to somebody, get some help, get some objective help. Don't ask your parents, don't ask your friends, because they'll give you biased advice. And realise that actually. Yeah. It's a sign of strength, and it's actually a sign of progress, as weird as it sounds. Sometimes our problems are really progress, because all it is a question that we need to answer.
Sarah, what a beautiful way to finish the show. My last question, how can our listeners get hold of you? How can people connect with you?
Yeah, certainly. My website is, if you look up Sarah J Coaching, it's www.sarah, that's SARAH, j.com. So it's sarah-j.com. If you look up Sarah J Coaching UK, you should find me. I'm on Twitter as well. I'm at Sarah J Coaching. I'm on LinkedIn, so plenty of ways to find me.
Thank you so much for being my guest today, Sarah. I really enjoyed a conversation with you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for inviting me on the show.
It's been my pleasure. You have been listening to the Brilliance Business Show, conversations with leading experts in business.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.